Overwatch is an exceptional video game. Not even a year old, this game has sold nearly 30 million copies, and naturally, like anyone else would, the very first question that came to mind was, how does Overwatch use evil, or at least portray evil, to create such a successful game in this day and age? And surprisingly enough, Overwatch wasn't just more of the same. They navigated these waters a little differently. We argue that the game Overwatch is an example of evil in play, because the game explores and defines evil by the way they paint a unique narrative landscape and by the manner in which they employ different methods to divide opposing teams from one another in order to create monsters. Yes, it is another first-person shooter, and yes, it utilizes the internet to connect with millions of other players. But it does do things differently, and the topic of how evil was utilized is essential in understanding what makes this game so unique. So like with most first-person shooters, there are two teams to any given match. One team is defending, and another is attacking. But most other first-person shooter video games use quick and easy divisions in the characters we play to give us a reason to fight. The evil in these games is normally found on narrative levels. We are fighting the Nazis. Need anyone really ask who is good and evil in those cases? Overwatch really differentiates itself in this regard. With Overwatch, both teams have access to the exact same roster of playable characters. Both teams end up taking turns when it comes to fighting for the objective. One team will start a match defending a payload, trying to prevent it from reaching a certain point on the map. After round one, the teams switch sides. After both rounds, the team to make the most progress wins. So, evil isn't defined by what we are doing in this game. Overwatch does something interesting here. The enemy team is always outlined in red. You can have two characters standing side by side, perfectly identical, except they are colored differently to denote our affiliation with them. When using an ultimate ability, your character will announce to the entire game that they are getting ready to basically kill everyone. You can have two McCrees or two Widowmakers, it doesn't matter. To further create a sense of good and evil in the game, the opposing team will speak in a foreign language when using their ultimate ability. But when the enemy team does it, even if it's the same character as the one you're playing, they will sound different than your own.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard. No one can hide from my sight.
Heroes never die. Helden sterben nicht.
And on a narrative level, the game isn't as black and white as other games are, either. Our heroes in one of the game modes head off to protect London from an invasion of a violent sect of robots. They are there to protect the people of London. Later in the story, our heroes again head off to London, but to protect a different group of robots from the very people that they were protecting earlier, because of a newly born prejudice against them. In the end, what makes Overwatch stand out isn't just the polish of the game, or the great gameplay. Their use of evil for the purpose of giving us a reason to fight makes the game stand out and shine amongst the other games of its kind. Maybe evil has a purpose after all, if none other than to give us one.